Hey toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we're once again looking at those Marvel Legends Infinite series figures, specifically the Spider-Man wave released here in the early part of 2015. We have Ultimate Spider-Woman. Now if you're not familiar with Ultimate Spider-Woman, she was created by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley and first appeared in Ultimate Spider-Man number 98. More importantly, she was part of the Ultimate Clone Saga storyline. And, as the name would suggest, the Ultimate Clone Saga was actually a story where Peter Parker had to deal with multiple cloned versions of himself, including Ultimate Spider-Woman that you see here. You heard right, this is a female Peter Parker figure. Of course, she would later adopt the name Jessica Drew and even Julia Carpenter, and went from being Spider-Woman to even Black Widow of the Ultimate Universe. Personally, I like the Ultimate Spider-Woman version of her better. I wasn't a big fan of the costume change to Black Widow, but we're getting off topic here. So let's kick things off by taking a look at the packaging for this figure. Coming down the front of the box, you have that Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure logo in the upper left. You've got the logo for Spider-Man in the center. You then have a window box packaging that does house the Spider-Woman figure inside, as well as her Build-A-Figure piece. You have the logo for Marvel Legends Infinite series towards the bottom, and then finally you have the label for this figure, Warriors of the Web. Ultimate Spider-Woman is a swap pack figure with the Mayday Parker version of Spider-Girl. Flipping this package around, as you come down the back of the box, you have the Marvel Legends Infinite series logo in the upper left and the Spider-Man logo again in the upper right. You have a bio for these figures. Go ahead and pause now to read that. You then do see an image of Spider-Woman and Spider-Girl there on the back, and then have the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure logo in the center. And then coming down to the bottom of the box, you have a complete lineup of all the other figures available in this wave, as well as the Build-A-Figure Hobgoblin pictured off to the left. Alright guys, well that's the packaging. What say we get this figure out of the box and see what she's all about. Alright toy fans, so here we have Ultimate Spider-Woman out of the box, and overall this figure's a bit of a mixed bag, but I do like it. I think the paintwork is really clean and sharp on this figure. I like the way that it looks on the eyes here with this sort of metallic white paint. I like the metallic white paint on the torso of the figure, and then the black line work that was done for the legs, it's all very clean. And then we get that metallic white paint on the hands here as well. Otherwise, the figure's pretty much just this sort of burgundy-colored plastic. Now, my figure actually has a paint error on the back here. We do have this sort of scuff that came out of the packaging that way. I'm going to consider that a one-off, but you guys might want to be mindful of that. You can hide it with, articulation, but really, it's kind of annoying that it's there, but it's also not a huge problem because it's on the back of the figure. And then we also have some paint detail in the hair here, which is really nice. And while we're on the topic of the hair, let's talk about sculpting. This hair looks amazing, I think, on this figure. I really, really like it. But I wish it was a softer plastic or that we got an extra head sculpt for the figure because this hair actually gets in the way of articulating the head backward and even moving the arm to some extent. So while it looks really good, and I really like that about the figure, I just wish it was handled a little bit differently. But we also have some great sculpt work here on the face of the figure where you can see the lips coming through on the mask and the nose. I think that looks really, really nice. Sculpt-wise, the figure is actually the same as the Jubilee Build-A-Figure from last year's Toys R Us exclusive X-Men wave. I don't have that figure available for comparison, but I think it looks good on this Ultimate Spider-Woman figure, who's supposed to be about 18 years old or so. Can't remember exactly, but old enough for Peter Parker to join S.H.I.E.L.D., if I remember right from this time in the comics. Ultimate Spider-Woman comes with all the accessories that you see here. The first thing we have is the Build-A-Figure piece for Hobgoblin, the torso, and we'll look at that more in detail when we get that figure assembled at another review. But then she has nothing else coming with her, and that's kind of a bummer because she has some hands here that are nice, but neither one is actually a thwipping hand. And I feel like it's a real missed opportunity to have some swappable hands so your Spider-Woman can actually shoot some web. Maybe Hasbro will think of that next time. We can only hope. Moving on to articulation, we can see that Ultimate Spider-Woman does have a head that'll bend down very far and bend back only that far. Again, that hair gets in the way. It will rotate left or right. She's got a shoulder joint that'll allow her arm to rotate all the way around as well as bend out and up from the body very far. She has no bicep swivel, but she does have a full rotation here at the elbow. It's a little tight on this new figure. And then her elbow will actually bend in that far and out that far. She's got a wrist joint that spins all the way around and then actually bends in that far and back that far. And that articulation is copied here on the other side. She has a diaphragm joint that'll let her rock all the way around and bend forward only about that far and back only about that far. No waist swivel. She's got a hip joint that'll bend forward that far, bend back only about that far, just a little bit past standing position. Her leg will bend out from the body that far, which is okay. She's got a full rotation at the upper thigh here, and then she has a double jointed knee that does collapse in nicely. Rotation at the boot, and then she has an ankle that does bend forward that far, bend back that far, and has that Hasbro ankle pivot that we all like. So with the articulation out of the way, I should mention this is a spider character, and I would have really liked to have seen maybe bicep swivel, or maybe the ability for this character really just to get in better crouching positions. The diaphragm joint doesn't really allow for her to bend forward very far or bend back very far, and I really feel like that's kind of a failing of the figure. This mold just wasn't really meant to be a spider character. Height-wise, we can see that Ultimate Spider-Woman does stand just a little bit over 5.5 inches tall. For some size comparison, here we have Ultimate Spider-Woman standing alongside some other Teenage Marvel Legends figures. we've got X-23 and Hope Summers. And here she is standing next to some adult Marvel Legends female figures. We've got Miss Marvel and Scarlet Witch. And finally, here she is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. If you're looking to be my next sidekick, bub, take a number. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Warriors of the Web Ultimate Spider-Woman figure. Overall, I've got to say this figure's probably a bit of a pass. Unless you're a fan of the Spider-Verse storyline or the Ultimate Universe, you really don't have any reason to pick this figure up, and I think that the articulation really kind of hinders this from being the great Spider-Woman figure that this could have been. I think the paintwork is really clean and really sharp, except for that one scuff I had, and I really like the hair sculpt on this figure. I just hate how it hinders the articulation overall. But if you're looking to build up your display of Ultimate Universe figures, definitely give this figure a look. Well, that's my review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.